Welcome to Gloves Off with David Singer. I'm coming from
David Singer's right here, man.
I'm coming from South Miami, studio number A at Community Newspapers.
There we are, right there. We're on. Listen, like us, share us, do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Participate, comment.
Anyway, this is the number one rated show or watch show.
I do not know how.
Number one watch show on Community News Networks. Just people tune in just to see what comes out of my mouth. Today, unfortunately, Ed Silva was supposed to be here. Ed Silva was supposed to be here, and I think he was concerned about what was going to come out of my mouth.
Ed made a good choice
and
today.
about an hour and a half ago, he called me up and he goes, I had an emergency. I can't be there for today's show. I go, Ed, we're going over budgets of Palmetto Bay. You sure you want to,
Tommy, who gives a hoot about the budget?
I do care about the budget. So
do you still live there?
Yeah, I still live there. By the way, everybody wants to know why you're in such a bad mood.
I don't know.
Okay,
just piss poor. But let's move on to something that's more important.
He woke up in a really, really, the wrong side of the bed this morning, and that's hard to do since he sleeps by himself.
You've been talking to my wife, I see.
Yeah, I have. She says she can't deal with your snoring. Anyway, let's have the disclaimer up here. Can we throw the disclaimer up? Can we? The opinions of the host, guest, and callers are not necessarily the opinions of Community Newspaper or, for that matter, Michael Miller.
Or anybody else. Not even of David Singer.
No opinions. Okay, so today we're going to talk about budgets. We're going to talk about the sidewalk, the 10-foot sidewalk.
I'm forwarding this to a bunch of people, by the way.
Oh, are you? Okay. Well, you can keep going. And then what else were we going to talk about? Budgets. Tax increases in Village of Palmetto Bay. But before we do that, I got this video sent to me the other day, and I thought it was great. And we're gonna play it a couple times during the show. So we're gonna play it right now. Right now.
I'm afraid to guess what it is.
Take a gander.
Where are we? Oh, can't you leave her alone, for God's sake? Tommy, look at this. Oh, my Lord.
This fits perfectly in today's show. Yeah.
I'm going to vote for her. All right?
You can't live. You can't.
Oh, I can't?
No. Wrong for Karen Cunningham. Wrong for Palmetto Bay. I think that should be going to be the theme song or the theme of my show. Anyway, I also had these hats made, and they say, believe it or not, they say "Gloves Off" with David Singer, and there's a little boxing. I'm giving one.
Gloves Off with David Singer.
I'm giving one to Michael Miller, although I don't think it's going to fit in his head, so he's going to have to adjust it.
Make it.
That's a good hat, actually. I like that hat. It's comfortable.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I got about 50 of them. If anybody wants them.
Nobody wants your hat.
Okay, well, what the hell?
Hey, so listen, whatever side you take, I'm going to take the other side. Let's try that.
Why don't you just leave now? Just scurry your little self off. Okay.
I will. One time, Tommy's gonna have the camera on you, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to our betters.
I was gonna do the show myself today because it was really important.
You may wind up doing that.
But Michael says, "Okay, I'll sit in with you." Anyway, so
let's talk about COVID.
We'll talk about COVID. Let's talk about COVID.
Okay.
So I read something that was really interesting the other day about COVID. So somebody wrote that the people that have had their shots had their COVID shots, and I'm going in for my third, hopefully in the next couple of weeks because I have a couple of issues.
But Tommy knows somebody, by the way.
Tommy knows somebody what to give me my shot.
Tommy just knows somebody.
Okay. So I'm going in. So anyway, so I read this article and the guy basically said, and it's an interesting theory if you want to know it, that the people that have had their COVID shots should get priority in hospitals over people that haven't had their COVID shots. And I'm like, you know what? Honestly, that's not necessarily a bad idea. You've gone out of your way to sit there and go get your shots one time or two times. You bring your family in there to get your shots. You wear your masks and stuff like that. And some schmo out there who, and by the way, I'm going to preface this by saying I have 2 kids that have not refused to get their COVID shots.
That's over
Okay.
30% of the people in Miami-Dade County haven't
Okay.
had their shots yet.
Okay, so I got 2 people that refuse to have in my household that refuse to have the COVID shots. I've told both my sons, and I love my sons. I don't like them that much, but I love my sons. Okay, that if you end up in a hospital, I'm not coming to see you, and I'm not paying your deductible. Okay, because they're gonna.
He's mean. This guy's mean.
No, I mean, like it's just
them that
I just can't fathom the idea of people not getting, because they think there's a chip or something, and they're putting a chip in you to follow you around. And even if they were putting a chip in me, I really don't care. Okay, but the fact of the matter, so they said that people should get priority who have had their shots. How do you feel about that?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Because who's going to be the triage person? You're going to be the triage. You've had it. Okay, you're 18 years old and you didn't do it. So you were stupid. So too bad. We're going to send you home and you can die. Is that what you want to do?
No, it's not really. But I mean, there are hospitals that are running out of room because of people not getting their shots.
A lot.
I mean, this is almost like natural selection, right?
And here's the interesting part of that. As the hospitals are full of COVID patients, there are plenty of people that are not thinking about going to the hospital for other care that they might need. That's the real problem that we don't even know about. How many people are afraid to go because they're afraid they're going to get COVID, are afraid to go to the doctor because they think they may or may not have had a heart attack. I think that's a really big problem for all of us. The really good news for us in Dade County, all right, our COVID rate is positive rate is dropping pretty rapidly. Hospitalizations way down, but from what I understand, because of all the football games, the holidays, in a month or so, going to go back up again.
Oh, by the way, I don't want to interrupt you, but if you want to call in and ask a question or you want to text me, it's 786-584-7665. You can either text me or call in, or you can send a email and ask me a question. I will be answering a lot of questions today since I have Grandpa Miller on the show.
Hey, okay.
So I've had 2. You know this because I've talked to you about it. I may not be in for a couple of Thursdays. I have 2 medical procedures. One that's been put off for 2 years, which is basically I got a couple hernias that have to be operated on, and I haven't wanted to go to the hospital to deal with the hernias. And the other is something to do with the heart that everybody says I don't have. So that I'm going in. that I'm going in on the 21st.
Took a while for that to sink in.
Okay, that I'm going in on 21st because I got to get that done before I get the hernias done. So anyway, so it's been being put off. So you do wonder, people that have like knee surgery or hip replacement surgery and stuff like that, they're putting this off and putting this off and putting this off until the hospitals clear out, from COVID.
I think that's a natural thing that we do. So we stay away from things.
I didn't want any part of my hernia surgery when, with all these, especially when COVID first came in. Now it's got to the point where I need to get it done.
Have you ever had anything like that done before?
I've had my
when you had your heart taken out.
Yeah, yes. I've had my I've had a couple things removed from me.
Brain, heart.
No,
right? Those little tiny things.
Those little tiny things. No, that I did to my dog about 2 weeks ago. No, I had my appendix removed because it blew, and I had my gallbladder removed because it was about to blow. So I've had both those. Nothing really big.
Do you think it's because of your personality?
They're leaving my body because they don't want any part of it. No, not at all.
Okay, so let's talk
about Palmetto Bay for a little while. Okay, so one of the things that I want to get into, and I'll get into this more next week if I'm able to be here, because I'm going to sit down with Gene Flynn and hopefully Ed Silva and a couple of CPAs. Is the budget this year for Palmetto Bay? I guess the first hearing is going to be on Monday coming up. And I got to tell you something. Mayor Cunningham and the council are financially raping the residents.
Oh, come on.
No, seriously.
I'm taking the other side. But
okay, you got to go.
Okay.
Financially raping the residents of Palmetto Bay with what they're trying to pass. I mean, I got to tell you something. I had a couple of people, one of them an ex-employee, look at the budget, cursory look at the budget. We haven't gone through it page by page, but we will in the next week. And they're not only increasing your taxes by 10%, just Palmetto Bay's taxes, but they're blowing away what expenses. They're increasing expenses in Palmetto Bay by $2.5 million. in 1 year.
So how many cities, let's go around,
Okay, hold on.
raise their taxes, and how many, including the county and the school board?
School board and the county both decreased their taxes.
Okay.
Okay. Cities. Let's talk about cities. So hold on. Let me get it in here. There's only six cities that actually raised their taxes this year. Okay. And the rest of them out of 35 cities decreases their taxes. Palmetto Bay was one of the six.
Hello, Pam. Pam checked in there somewhere.
Oh, hi, Pam. How you doing? So 6 of them, of course, I don't have the spreadsheet with me. 6 of them raised their taxes. Palmetto Bay.
Happy anniversary, I think, Pam.
Palmetto Bay was one of the 6 out of 35 municipalities. Palmetto Bay used to be in the bottom 4 municipalities that taxed, and now we're in the top 10. So they've completely blown away the taxing, and they've added. I got to tell you something.
So what's the standard of living today compared to before? Because that's not part of it.
Now, let me tell you something. I've never in my entire life had a resident come up to me and say, "Oh my God, our government's just not big enough in Palmetto Bay." And what they're doing is, what the Karen Cunningham and friends are doing is it's tax and spend, right? So the last thing you want is a small municipality to be taxing and spending like they are. And they're not only taxing on real estate taxes, they've increased FP&L fees, they've increased water and sewer fees. I mean, it's really tax and spend in Palmetto Bay. For the life of me, I can't find this.
All right.
So
but if the citizens in Palmetto Bay are okay with it, because I have not seen a lot of pushback on it. Right?
I don't think the citizens know yet. So what I'm willing to do, basically, is I'm willing to meet any citizen. Here we go. I'm willing to meet with any citizen at all to go through the Palmetto Bay budget. So okay, so these are the 6 cities that are increasing their taxes: Homestead, Doral, Cutler Bay, Miami Springs, North Bay Village, and Palmetto Bay. Those are the ones that are increasing their taxes. These are the ones that are decreasing their taxes: Opelika, Key Biscayne, Sweetwater, Hialeah Gardens, Miami Gardens, Hialeah, North Miami Beach, West Miami, Biscayne Park, El Portal, Miami, unincorporated county, Miami Lakes, Miami Beach, South Miami, Miami Shores, Bay Harbor, Surfside, Aventura, Sunny Islands, Coral Gables, Bal Harbor, Florida City, Golden Beach, Pinecrest, Indian Creek, Virginia Gardens, and Medley. Those are all decreasing their taxes.
Over 25.
Over 25, yeah, it would be 29 actually.
Okay,
right. It's a big that's a big deal there. And Palmetto Bay has 26,000 residents. I mean, for them to sit there and increase their taxes right now is a travesty, and it shouldn't be done.
Should I ask you how much the average home would go up?
Mine went up over $500. So I think it went over $500 on that one item. And what's interesting about all that, and I'm going to find it, I want to read a couple things because I got a hold of their budget today. This is their budget that Mayor Cunningham puts out. Okay. It's counterintuitive, but the economic effects of the pandemic have not all been negative. Or an example.
Where are you reading that from?
This is a budget that's online right now.
You just said counterintuitive. Is that in here?
This is in here. This is a paragraph. Okay. It's counterintuitive. The economic effects of the pandemic have not been all negative. For example, real estate values have soared, more than doubling the historical rate of increase in taxable value, bringing the total to $3,336 million, an all-time high. Okay, sales taxes similarly have recovered from the initial pandemic lows as much as artificially suppressed demand finds its way back into the economy. Most reasonable forecast for 2022 is continued growth in economic activity, jobs, real estate values, which would improve the village's financial condition and outlook. Now, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, right? Because what they're saying is, we already got a tax increase
by virtue of the
fact that the values have all gone up, and everything looks. And I'm going to get into a couple other paragraphs to read, because this is so important that people understand what's going on in the village of Palmetto Bay, that I'm literally going to spend another hour next week on this. Your home value has already gone up, so you're getting hit once with a tax increase there, right? It's capped at 3%, but the raise is actually capped at 3%. The home value it can go up as much as possible. But at the same time, they're still taxing you more because they increased the millage rate. So they're hitting you twice, right? They're hitting you once with the value of your house increasing. Okay. And if the fact of the matter is, if your house has increased 20%, you're getting hit with that. And then on the other hand, they're increasing the millage rate, which is hitting you again.
So part of the question that I have is, so yes, the taxes went up, but to what end is it? When they're spending the money, isn't what they're doing spending it appropriately? Are you saying that there's
no?
Something...
They're ballooning the government. As a matter of fact, they're hiring more employees in the Village Palmetto Bay than we've ever had before. As a matter of fact, if I can get that, I mean, listen. Our budget is about $18 million, right? Palmetto Bay's budget, give or take a couple $100,000. They're increasing it $2.5 million. That's a huge increase. And what it is, whoa.
Way to go, David.
Way to go. Let's see if I can find this. I have everything tabbed here. Unfortunately, once again, I can't find it. They've increased how many employees? I think they're adding 7 or 8 additional employees. Hold on, here it is. They're going from 59 employees to 71 employees. They're adding 12 new employees.
That's a bunch.
Okay, that's a bunch.
So are those all brand new folks, or as compared to a couple of years ago, did they let off a bunch of people?
No, I've never. It's hard to fire people that are basically, in municipal government. Yes. But every department is increasing their expenditures. They're hiring an IPO individual.
IPO? What's
yeah,
an IPO?
That's like a somebody to do PR work for the mayor at 93,000. PIO, yeah. What did I say?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
that's why you have
at 90. Yeah, thank you. They're hiring a PIO at 93,000. They're hiring
no kidding.
A reservation specialist at $57,000. They're hiring a special events coordinator at $75,000. They're hiring a parks maintenance worker for $61,000. They're hiring a tree maintenance employee for $87,000. They're hiring another administrative assistant for $57,000. Okay. They're hiring a CRS consultant for $50,000. They're hiring a resiliency coordinator for $61,000. I mean, they're stuffing this budget. It's almost like almost like the federal government here.
So the question is, are they needed, or is this just a want list?
I have never in my entire life, I'm telling you, I've never in my entire life heard a resident say we need more employees at the Village Palmetto Bay, and I've been around there for 8-10 years. I mean, this is insane. This is what you call not being fiscally responsible, okay, to your residents.
So just to make it clear, in order for this budget to pass, which it already passed, no, about to.
It's about to.
All right.
First reading's next Monday.
Okay. How many people does it take to get to pass the first reading?
3.
And then it goes to the second reading, same thing.
Yeah.
All right. The customers, the residents can go out. You don't have to be a voter. You can go out and say, I live in Palmetto Bay and I think this budget is whatever it happens to be.
Correct.
All right. So people have a chance to go voice themselves. But so 3 people would have to vote for it. So this isn't just a Karen Cunningham thing. This is the commission, the council is going to look at this thing and they're going to say to each other, do we need these people?
No, this has as much to do with the council, all 5 of them. I mean, I'm sure the council has had their hands in here, and the village manager. Although the village manager takes direction from the council, he doesn't come up with his budget. He takes direction. He must have sat with the way it used to be done is you'd sit and, you give them a wish list or whatever. And that's
WISH or WITCH.
Yeah. No, that would be bitch. Can we show that video again of Karen? Because I think this is a good time to show it. Can you put that up there? Oh, I got it. Tommy's working diligently. I love this video. This is great. Should I narrate it? Karen Cunningham. Biggest tax increase since 2002 when we incorporated. Biggest expenditure increase since 2002, since we were incorporated.
I see another commercial coming up right
I
here.
think
This is unbelievable. All right.
higher property taxes. True.
I like this. You know, I like the pictures.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff is good. It's got nice music to it.
Okay, so the the fact is that on top of this real estate tax increase, they increased fees on your FP&L bill 6.5%. It was supposed to be 0 next year, and now it's gone up to 6.5%. And they increased water and sewer fees.
So the question is, was Palmetto Bay
tax and spend, baby?
Right.
Tax and spend.
I like that. All right, were the citizens before getting a great deal? All right, and now they just have to start paying for the things of the way the city should be.
No, they've stuffed this thing. They have travel back in. They have almost $200,000 of travel. The village clerk's office is getting another $120,000. You know, and that's not even the bad part about this whole thing. The bad part is that they're taking $2 million out of the $12.4 million they're getting from the federal government. You know, because the federal government's getting this COVID money, right? And they're putting it into day-to-day expenditures. So that means when the COVID money runs out in 2 years, okay, that they have to again adjust the budget to keep all this stuff in place, because you know they're not going to downsize.
Okay.
Governments don't do that.
Okay, let's talk about as far as where the city might be able to spend money more in a different way. What about the old FP&L property? Is the city going to buy that with some county money, some federal money?
Okay, so
put up a public
so
park?
so this is the deal. So you saw what Pinecrest did and what Cutler Bay did. They're taking the money they're getting from they're taking the money that they're getting from the federal government for COVID, and they're doing stuff. They're buying a park here, you know, to spend the money. They're using it on capital, right? Palmetto Bay, on the other hand, is taking money and they're putting it in their operating budget instead of using it for capital items, which you want, you know, if we took that $12 million and we put it down on the FP&L property and took a bond out, we wouldn't have any houses or anything there. You buy bond for $20 million, you put the 12 in there, you'd have a great park, right? But instead, they're taking the money from the federal government and they're expanding the actual government.
And so you bring up a really good point, because as that money runs out, if you want to keep those programs in place, you have to go find that money, whatever it is.
And the only way to do it is raise taxes.
Yes.
So it's setting what they're doing right now, okay, is increasing taxes and setting up for a terrible, absolutely terrible future, okay, for other tax increases, because that COVID money is going to.
How much is it? Is 12 million?
It's 12.4, I think is
but
what they said.
How much? All those people is not. How much?
No, but they're spending $2 million of it just next year, and on top of that, they're misguiding the public. Okay, and I said this.
Misguiding a word?
Misguiding. I think it is. Can we look that up, please?
Misguiding.
Misguiding. It is word
MISS.
Right,
misguiding.
No, it would be MIS.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, not SS.
It is a legitimate word.
Thank you.
There,
so anyway, I didn't go to.
It took
school
the lawyer to figure that out.
I didn't.
So that's
I didn't
numbskulls over here.
I didn't go to 18 years of college for nothing. So anyway, so they took it and they took $1.2 million, and they're showing that they only spent $7.7 million on the police department in Palmetto Bay, where they actually spent $8.9 million.
Okay, let's talk about police. Last summer, or maybe it was the summer before, defund the police, all this stuff. That was like the worst thing in the world. Right?
I think it's stupidity.
All right,
but it wasn't defunding the police, though. By the way,
that was their mantra.
That was the mantra, right? What it was doing was saying, let's take some of the money that we've given to police and put it in social service kind of situations where we kind of like help the situation, so these people don't grow up to commit crimes.
But the argument, the verbal argument, which was take it from the police, rather than, hey, can't we spend money in social services, which now we know, all right, we should be doing that with the social, emotional, mental health problems that are going on everywhere, right? Everywhere. I mean, you're a living example.
I know, I can't help it.
Right?
Yeah.
So
my time has passed. There's no amount of counseling that's going to help me.
We know that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if you have some social issues and emotional issues, you call the county. It's 211, I think, or 311. You can call. They can direct you. All right. Please don't do anything stupid. It's going to get better soon. By the way, next month is Mental Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to have a couple of local agencies.
Oh, I'd like to interview
talk about that. You could get some free therapy.
I
here.
could.
Yes, and you are right now. As a matter of fact, just write out my check for $600 for the hour.
If I was going to get therapy, it shouldn't be. It sure as hell wouldn't be you.
That's true. So the question is: are these things bad, or are they just let's try this and let's see how the citizens like this, right?
These are bad because you have people that are in Palmetto Bay that are on fixed incomes. You have people in Palmetto Bay that are just starting out as families and want to move into, instead of out in West Kendall in a townhouse, want to move into a single family home with some yard. I mean, this number one is eventually going to catch up to the real estate prices that we have in Palmetto Bay because everybody has a certain amount of money that they can pay on a mortgage, taxes and insurance and all that stuff. And eventually what's going to happen is you're pricing people out of Palmetto Bay because the taxes are going to be high. We already know insurance. We can't control insurance. Okay, you can't control FP&L. So you tacked on a 6.5% increase in an FP&L bill. I mean, they're talking about pennies on a dollar. This isn't pennies on a dollar. These are thousands of dollars in extra taxes that you're going to be sitting there contributing to.
So
Palmetto
most
Bay.
of those people that are in elected position in Palmetto Bay today, we're not going to be there in 4 and 6
That's right.
years.
Absolutely. So they have no responsibility. And the people that do, and we talked about this, and I think this is fair game, although you're going to roll your eyes, so you might as well go.
All right, I'm starting to roll my eyes now.
Is you got somebody on the council named Steve Cody. Okay. He has not paid his mortgage in 8 years, from what I understand. His house is being foreclosed on November 15th. I will be there to bid on his house, by the way. He hasn't paid taxes. He hasn't paid insurance. He hasn't paid his mortgage. Okay, so he's sitting there making decisions for Palmetto Bay residents when he has contributed absolutely nothing.
By the way, I'm not sure that he hasn't paid his insurance.
I am. Well, I'm not 100% about insurance, but I can tell you that when I looked on the foreclosure documents, which I have right here, that he owes them a good $80,000 in escrows. Escrows are taxes.
Just for transparency.
Yeah. I lost the election to him by
See,
400
Tommy,
votes.
We finally got him trained to say that.
For 400 votes. But okay, so what's due to the bank is $300,000 on his house. Okay, but that's not even the point. Oh, by the way, it says escrow advance is $80,000. So you think that would be insurance and taxes. So my point is that you have a guy that is sitting there, handpicked by Karen Cunningham to sit on the council, is making financial decisions for the residents of Palmetto Bay and has no skin in the game. What does he care? He's not going to pay taxes. He's not even probably going to be living there in a year.
So maybe he can just compartmentalize that and say, I can still do what I think is a good job.
He came out for a larger tax increase than the rest of the council agreed to. He wanted to raise taxes, whatever, say 12%, and the council was smart enough to say, no, that's too much. We'll bring it down to 10%. I'm just using
an old negotiating tool. Do it up here.
But he should not be representing anybody on a council. He basically is living in a foreclosed house.
But he got elected.
Yeah, that's right. And once the foreclosure goes through, unless he moves in and rents someplace, he can't be on the council, apparently. So it'll be interesting.
This guy over here is too much.
No, but seriously, let me ask you a question. Do you want your representatives to represent you? Do you want them to pay taxes? Do you want them paying?
I think that we vote for people that think that they can fairly represent us, that have similar values in there. It may not be everything, but similar values. And then we want to be proud of our elected officials. So even if you get pissed off at a couple things they do.
Are you proud of somebody sitting on a dais raising your tax? Do you think any resident in Palmetto Bay will be proud of Steve Cody sitting on the council asking for huge tax increases when he doesn't pay taxes himself?
Well, it's certainly open for discussion, but you got to give it to him. The guy's got guts, man. Here he is with all this going on. You've certainly been one of the people that have been disclosing this, as well as some other people. Yeah. But he's there, and he's doing the job that he can do, and
he's making decisions for people when he really shouldn't be in the house. I got it, but I'm just telling you that was my hit on Cody.
Today. There you go, Steve, all over.
Okay, today. We'll bring this up again.
I'm sure.
Okay. numerous times. I just don't think you should have a representative representing you that doesn't pay the taxes that you're supposed to be paying and then asking for increases. I think it's really hypocritical and obnoxious, actually.
So quite frequently, we see people are fighting for the people that are that need help, and the hopeless, and the people that are disconnected, and that are disconnected in a lot of ways, that typically don't have much money and they don't have much influence. And there are charities out there that stand up for them, right? And so they argue with the money people. We need the money over here. I don't see anybody being advocate for the folks in Palmetto Bay. And again, it's only with the vision that I see, that I have, is where are the groups that are down there to saying we need to help more people? I know there's some charities that are going on there, and maybe a really good thing for people that themselves are having financial issues, Steve, all right, is to go fight for the people that need it the most. All right.
Okay. So Palmetto Bay did something that was kind of interesting. And then I found out it was trying to buy votes. Was they sat there and they were giving out grants. I'm going to use a round number of about $500 to put one of the bars in the bathtub in case you need a bar bathtub. Then I found out that Medicare will do it for free, and it costs like $75. So Palmetto Bay sitting there giving out grants to people, $500 with my tax dollars. By the way, I don't want the government, I don't want the U.S. government, I don't want state government, I don't want my local government taking my tax dollars and determining what charity, they want to spend it on. I think that's totally not their. I give a lot of money to charity every year. I want to determine where.
Not enough, I might add.
Yeah, I want to determine where my money goes to what charity that I think is important. It's not the government's job to sit there and take my tax dollars and give it to charity. The government's job is to basically education, defense. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's
Do you have a heart?
Yes, I do. That's why I give to. That's why I give the charities. But do you really want your government taking your money and giving it to charities?
Well, part of it is that, if you like where it's going, maybe you don't have a problem. If you don't like where it's going, go, wait a second, all right? I don't want that to happen. By the way, the city of South Miami was asked to hold monthly showers for the homeless.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not given to a charity.
All right. I understand. They turned it down. By the way, maybe they'll go to Palmetto Bay. It was going to be at the library.
I actually don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with, if you go to San Francisco, they have bathrooms on. I don't know when the last time they have bathrooms on the street for the homeless.
Well, maybe that's one of the reasons the governor's going to get recalled.
They can go to the bathroom and they can take showers. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem helping the homeless. I have a problem with sitting there writing out a check to a 503c, or organization with tax dollars. Oh, you got some? Oh my God. Oh, Carol Vega. I love paying more taxes so Steve can get a free ride.
So do you know D. Maria's? D. Maria's? Nope.
No.
Hey, thanks for checking it. Hey, Carol. By the way, Carol is a person that loves animals to death. All right. She's been working with dogs and cats probably 90% of her life, and loves dogs and takes care of them, gets people to adopt them, and works with them. If you have any loose dogs, take them over to Carol. All right.
I'm going to take 2 of my dogs have been trained by Carol's husband. And then I have one more. I have one more to go. Yeah, Juan.
Yeah.
Wani.
She calls him Wani. Yes.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's actually a lot nicer than she is. Anyway, so I'm just joking, Carol.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not. So no, I mean, Carol has the same problem. I mean, Carol has the same problem with the Palmetto Bay government as I do. She thinks, they abuse the money. They basically, this is what happens is when you start taxing and spending as much as Palmetto Bay seems to be heading into, I think you're really starting to take the money and buy votes.
We were just with Hal Feldman, and we were reminiscing March or April of the first year of the pandemic. Is that he said at one point there was over 3 years of housing that was available because the market had switched. Now there's in Pinecrest, it was a month or two that was there. The point is that things change. So today, all right, that this is what it looks like over here. But in 2 years from now, it might be entirely different because they could stop those areas. PIO, I thought the marketing that the city does seems quite sufficient. All right, I mean I like what they're doing. They have a newsletter.
Can I ask you a question? And this is a legitimate question. Why is a municipality, Okay. Why do they need to market themselves? Why do they need a PIO? Why do they need a PR firm? I mean, what exactly should my tax dollars go? And by the way, guys, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Okay. And
What are you, David Singer?
I'm just I'm
What are
literally
you?
in the middle. But I am fiscally conservative. My tax dollars should not be going to hire a PR person or a PIO to make the mayor and the council look better.
Okay, how about you'd asked what they do. How about letting people know what the city is doing, what the tax dollars are being spent on? Here's Jerry. D. Maria's Quintero says Palmetto Bay is doing fabulous. Jerry Johnson, hey Jerry, talk about tax it. If Congress increased the capital gains to 48% in a future date, and the interim companies such as
Blackstone that owns hundreds of thousands of single-family homes, many in Palmetto Bay will sell them off before the increase from 20 to 48%, thereby depressing the single-family market. Now is the time to sell if a seller has significant long-term gains. I don't see them going up to 4% on a capital gains rate. That would actually, and by the way, everybody, I'm putting this out there. I actually know how to read a budget because I'm a CPA and spent.
What? You're CPA?
I'm a CPA and spent 15 years in public
God.
accounting. So I know how to read a budget. And what I'm telling you guys, and I'm willing to sit with anybody out there is the gospel as I read this budget. I've read a lot of budgets before. So anyway, I don't see Congress raising the capital gains tax rate to 48% because that's more than some people pay ordinary income tax on. And I don't think the capital gains rate, and I may be wrong, but I don't think the capital gains rate has ever been higher than ordinary tax rate.
Back to the question: Why does an entity need somebody to share the good news? Because they're citizens in whatever city it is that are unaware of what's going on. And I think the city and whatever government needs to be able to say, "Here's what we're doing with your tax dollars."
That's okay. That's good, but that's not what they're doing. Okay. They're doing a lot of, if you see it, I mean, Karen Cunningham, the mayor, is a marketing machine. I mean, if you look at any other municipality, you don't have the marketing. She's taking residents' tax dollars and using it to PR herself and the rest of the council.
Oh, that's a different issue, right? So perhaps the elected officials should do that on their own.
They should.
With their own money and not spend it. But what the city is doing, we're putting in this road, and we're about to do this public meeting.
That's okay. I got no problem with that. But that administrative assistant can do. They don't need a PR person to do that. They can just put the information out. Anyway, so let me go through some of these other expenditures. So the council is providing funding for traveler taxpayer expense, increase the budget to $200,000 a year. Tell me where. Okay,
I'm listening.
Tell me where our five council people need to spend $200,000 a year on travel.
It's $40,000 each. Holy moly! Really?
Yeah.
Patrick travels the world. It doesn't cost the city anything.
Listen, tell me where these people need $40,000 a pop to sit there and travel to. What is Karen planning on going to China?
Oh, you got me. She's going to negotiate a deal.
I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. Okay, so that's it. The village clerk's office is going from $250,000 a year to $372,000 a year. What we got 3 people in the village clerk's office. You got somebody in there for passports, okay, which is a losing proposition, but it's an amenity for the residents. Okay, it's lost hundreds of thousands of dollars since it was opened. And you got a village clerk and you got an assistant village clerk. That's 3 people, and you're talking about $372,000. It's insane. The village attorney's office is increasing from $251,000 to $350,000.
Wow, a 50% increase.
Now tell me, okay? Number one is the village attorney should be fired. The worst mistake I ever made in my entire life.
I don't agree with that, John.
It's okay. You don't have to agree with it because I've seen how incompetent and inept he is. So the worst mistake I ever made was not saying, and I've had conversations with other prior council people that we should never hire an in-house attorney because all he does is he takes what needs to be done and he puts it, he goes to a third party. So
when that stuff goes to a third party, the city pays that separately.
Yes, correct.
So
absolutely. Okay. And that's before that $160,000 increase is before outsourcing, right? And God knows we got enough. The finance department is increasing 16% or $70,000. Communication is increasing 75% communication to $249,000
Wow.
of additional public
Okay.
relations.
So let me ask you. So
Okay.
in the years past in these departments, what did the increase, if any, look like? Pick whatever one.
5%, unless somebody was getting a raise. I mean, it was nothing. It was barely nothing. We've always, since when I was there, we reduced the millage rate, okay? Because I believe in running. Listen, nobody on the council right now.
Karen was there though while you were there.
Yeah. And it was she fought it tooth and nail.
Were you on when Gene was there?
Yeah, for 2 years.
Okay.
And Gene believed in a small government. Okay, he didn't believe in ballooning the government up. Gene was very thrifty, as he is in life.
Very thrifty.
Very thrifty. Not as bad as Patrick, who's never seen a meal that he didn't want somebody to buy for.
Now, this is only the 100th time I told the story, but years ago, we was all sitting around at Tony Roma's, and we had a bet between everybody there. When Gene shows up, he's going to sit down, all right? And the waitress takes the bill, and when we're done, puts it in the middle. So the waitress put it down, and the rest of us were waiting. All right, waiting. It's all planned out.
Yeah.
And Gene goes, I didn't bring my wallet with me. I left it in the car. I said, we all won that bet.
Gene's not that bad. And you know me, every time we've gone out, I've picked up the tab, right?
Yes.
Every time. Okay.
Well, why you were elected official?
No, after I was elected and before I was an elected official.
Yes.
So I've always picked up the tab because that's the way I am. Like I said, it's my money. I'm going to spend it the way I want. So, I mean, Patrick's the same way. So you got guys that are really thrifty, but still want to sit there and vote for tax increases that take money out of residents' pockets. So let me finish some of these. So planning and zoning, which is being subsidized by tax funding, is increasing 49% from $144,000 to $439,000.
Is that driven? Or do you think these are driven by needs? Meaning in that department, is there really that much?
No.
Jerry had something to say.
I'm sorry, Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Perhaps they want to visit all the homeless encampments in the Democrat-run cities in order to learn what not to do.
Oh, you think is that from the showers?
I don't know. I love Jerry, but he is definitely a Republican.
No,
Jerry and I have had our ups and downs, but now he realizes I'm fiscally conservative, so I think he actually likes.
So Jerry, so what do you think about all these increases? How much was the zoning department? How much did that go up? Was that zoning?
Yeah, planning and zoning went up from $144,000 for a total expenditure of $439,000,
and
that's a lot more than 40%.
And how many employees increase is this?
Hold on.
And how many of these are?
Oh my God!
How many are police, which we need?
Well, the police are increasing. They want to increase the police by $2 million this year. So you'd go from 8.9 million to 11.9 million. Who's the guy that he disliked you, he disliked me, and he was always against the police in Palmetto Bay? Don Waters, right?
Yeah, where's
Don Waters has been MIA since the election. I got to tell you something. If Don Waters saw what was going on in Palmetto Bay, or actually, he wanted us to get rid of the police, actually, which I would never agree to. But if Don Waters saw what these people are doing with the taxes, he would have a coronary.
He doesn't live in Palmetto Bay anymore?
I think he lives in Palmetto Bay, but he's literally MIA. I mean, he was all for downsizing the police department and blah blah blah.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about the sidewalk.
Okay, no, wait. Let's go back to you asked about the increase.
I'm glad you're here to keep me on track.
Yeah, I know. Parks department is going from 11 employees to 17 employees. I mean, that's 6.
Are there more parks?
No, they're adding 6 parks employees. I mean, this is insane what they want to do. It does not. I don't see it in here. I mean, seriously.
Currently, there's money to fund this, which did not come from taxpayers. I mean, it came from the federal government. It didn't come from your local taxpayers.
So far, the money that's come from the tax that I know that have come from COVID relief was a $1.2 million to decrease the cost of the police officers. They want to use a lot of money from that we got the 12.4. We haven't received it yet. And I, somebody once told me, don't look a gift horse in the mouth or a bird in the hand. No, a bird in the hand, right? A bird in the hand. Don't look because we haven't gotten the money yet. They're already spending money that we haven't even got it. I mean, let me tell you, if anybody, if anybody does not vote, I don't understand how anybody cannot vote these people out of office. There's nobody on the council, and I've said this numerous times. If you look at each council member that has any kind of business or managerial experience right now, none of them have any business sense.
Okay, but aren't they supposed to equal each other out? And then you have the manager that's supposed to take all this stuff and sort it out and give it back to the people. Say, here's what you guys want to do.
The manager is doing what the council. The manager is there to do what the council. It's different from the village attorney because the village attorney has to follow the law, even though he probably doesn't at certain times. I'm telling you that the guy is. Anyway, so the manager has to follow what the council wants.
That's across the board. No matter what city
and I got
it
to tell you
is.
something. I've met Nick. I've talked to Nick a couple times. He's fiscally conservative. There's no way that Nick put this budget together without influence from the council. Nick's a very conservative guy. I mean, he's an ex-Marine, and all that stuff.
And didn't he run a really big base?
Yeah, I ran a big base.
Big base. Thank you for years of protecting us.
Big base, yeah. I really appreciate that, by the way. He spent 5 years in and out of Afghanistan. He's a great guy. I asked him to be on the show, but he said he couldn't come on the show because he's afraid he'd be fired, which I don't doubt, actually. But he's a pretty fiscally, from what I've gathered a couple of times I've talked to him, conservative type guy. He did not. This is not his tax and spend. This is Karen Cunningham and the rest of the council taxing and spending the residents, into oblivion. And this is going to have detrimental effects for years to come because the money from the government is going to run out, and then the residents are going to be left holding the bag.
Let's talk about Cutler Bay. They've really made huge progress in the years they've been incorporated. Mm-hmm. Great leadership. Doesn't seem to be much stink. They really were futuristic when they bought the 20 some odd acres. One day there's going to be City Hall over there. It's going to be their town center.
That's right. And Palmetto Bay has $12.4 million. They can do the same thing.
So what's stopping them?
Because they're going to use the money on day-to-day operations. They have no foresight. They don't understand. I'm telling you, they just have no. They're clueless, and it's sad to see, because Shelley Stanzik would have done better. And you know how my love for Shelley Stanzik. Shelley Stanzik would have done a better job with the 12.4 million than what's being done right now.
And why would she have done a better job?
Because she didn't want tax increases. She was not a tax and spend. She was not a tax and spend person. Yawning?
I know. All right. So let's talk about in the cost of buying products, goods, and services today compared to a year and a half ago. It seems as though it's completely out of control.
Although inflation's come down. I mean, they got it pretty right. I mean, when they said inflation was going to peak and it was going to start tapering down.
Has it come down?
Yeah. I mean, if you read what's going on. But, I mean, you're going to have inflation when you have no flow of products, when you have no employees to put the products together or get the raw materials.
So right? we know bringing over not barges, what do they call it? Shiploads of product from China, right? Used $2,000 to $4,000, $10,000 to $20,000 now to bring them over. Yeah, and so that all goes right to our bottom line and buying that product. All right.
Why do you think Skyrise Miami is not going up? Because of the steel and the whole 80% of the value of Skyrise Miami was steel and concrete, and that completely blew the budget away. I mean, people don't understand that, there's other effects besides. Hello.
For you.
It's not for me. Anyway, I do want to say Palmetto Bay Parks, did I read this? Increasing by $780,000, 36% increase in running the parks.
So if this money would have already, was coming from the citizens, all right, versus this, I don't want to call it free.
No, but it is coming from the citizens.
Okay.
Because of the 10% increase plus the FP&L fee plus the water and sewer fee, some of it is coming from the citizens. Some of it is being subsidized by the federal government. when the federal government subsidy ends, the whole increase will come from the residents.
And so when is that?
You have to use the 12.4 million, I think, in a 2-year period. So in 3 years from now, everybody should expect huge. If this budget passes, everybody should expect huge, unacceptable tax increases on their real estate tax bill.
And so, how much a year increase is this budget more than last year? If this passes like this, more or less.
Well, probably $2.5 to $3 million.
And
which is, hold on, wait, let me do this because I'm not that smart.
He's actually a CPA.
I'm not that smart. I got a calculator or a computer in front of me. So if you're talking about an average budget of 18 million, okay, you're saying $3 million of $3 million divided by 18, and these are just round numbers, guys. Don't hold me to it. You're talking about close to probably a 16 to 20% increase in spending. And I'll confirm all this because I am going to get together with a couple of my buddies.
Okay.
Who are
You're in the real estate arena. You play in
correct.
that. Tell me, what do you think is going to happen to Southland Mall, to the property there? What do you think is going to go on?
I think somebody would be smart because it's zoned for higher buildings. They make it, triple play. They put office building in there. They do residential. And retail will be there. You can't get better access there.
So do you think there might be a medical facility there?
Yeah, there could be a medical facility.
Right.
There could be a hospital there. It'd be a great location for a hospital. They have enough land there. I mean, it's a big piece of land.
Yep. There's two new big players in town. All right. And then
one of those players wants to build a hospital at the old FBNL property.
Well, time to hurry up.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
Now, the courts have ruled twice against.
There were 3 lawsuits apparently, and the major lawsuit has not gone through yet, and that's the Burt J. Harris lawsuit.
But the other 2 that was filed by the property owner,
they got slammed.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
but the Burt J. Harris is the Burt J. Harris is the one, which is another topic interesting about Palmetto Bay, and I got a call from an ex councilman discussing this with me. Is Palmetto Bay came out and said that they did this great job with zoning the downtown area. You know how there was a zip on there, which means you can't zone anything until the zip's out. You pass rezoning laws. So they did this wonderful job in rezoning. So now they've gone back and said, okay, the job that we did wasn't good enough. So they're trying to run a couple other things through. One is they're trying to put a height limitation at 45 feet. So you can't have anything higher than 45 feet. And then they're trying to make the zoning determined on your net basis and not your gross basis. The gross basis includes some of the streets included, and you calculate based on the gross. Now they're trying to change it to net. What's funny is Surfside just tried to change their zoning from gross to net, and they got slammed by a judge. And it was in a paper all over the place.
Why don't you read what Jerry has to say?
Okay.
When I used
to be responsible for similarly sized budgets, I never increased more than 2% or so. But with government authorities, common sense is not a factored in. Major Flynn once stated in a council meeting, to paraphrase, that governmental budgets do not align with reality. It's not. They're not. This is not reality based. This is because you have people in there that are very happy to get their picture taken, and we can go through this whole thing. My whole song and dance.
Okay. So today let's take a look at there's 5 councilmen down there. Mm-hmm. There's election in a year and a quarter, right?
Correct.
Oh, year November. Campaign starts whenever that is, 6 months.
And by the way, I'm willing to have. By the way, I'm willing to debate Mayor Cunningham. She won't show up, and any of the other council members about this budget, anytime, anywhere, any place.
Who's running? It would be Mayor Cunningham.
It would be Marsha Madsen, and
Patrick.
Patrick, correct.
Okay. So who are some other people that might run in those?
Oh, there's a lot of people that have contacted me and talked to me. I can't.
I know you're not going to run.
I'm not going to run. I've disseminated their name. Although the company I work for asked me if I was going to run for mayor, and I said, "You're out of your mind." I'd much rather be on this side of the microphone, actually examining stuff.
All right.
I think I'd have support actually from my office if I did decide to run, but I would.
Okay, let's talk about the 10-foot sidewalk.
Oh, wait.
10-foot wide
Okay,
sidewalk.
I got pictures of the 10-foot sidewalk. Maybe Tommy can put it up. Okay, this is this 10-foot sidewalk. 10. Wait. First of all, it's not a 10-foot. It goes from 11 to 10 to 8 to 5. Okay, that's what the sidewalk looked like before, with all those beautiful trees and a 4-foot sidewalk. You see what's going on there. All the trees are gone. This is exactly the same, by the way. Place. Okay, you see the sidewalk. You see the 10-foot sidewalk, or maybe that's 8 in that location. I can't really tell. Maybe 10, and all the trees are gone. I mean, what they've basically done is just spent a lot of money on concrete that nobody really wants, right?
So this goes from 11 down to 5.
Goes from 11 to 5 to 4, and unfortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, they're not. I don't think they're doing anything with the bridge. So I don't get it, because there's going to be, what you want if you were going to do that, the sidewalk. You think you'd make the sidewalk on a bridge larger, and they're not changing that.
So the bridge sidewalk is the same.
The bridge sidewalk
4
was
feet
4 feet. 4 feet. Yeah.
Okay. So what other projects does the city have in mind for Village?
I don't know. I know they're taking money from they are taking $600,000 from what the federal government's giving them to design a new building at Carvey Park, which we've desperately needed. I mean, I voted on that. I voted on a new building when I was in office, and it's moved absolutely nowhere.
And the farmers market starts back up in October, November. Is that when that is?
Farmers market is still out there now, although Scott, is it rained out? I don't know. I get
It's still going on today.
Yeah.
I mean, not today.
Yeah. No, it's still going on there.
It's on Saturdays and Sundays or
Saturdays.
And so is this year round?
Yeah.
All right. So in a month or so, it's going to start getting cooler.
But they're still not checking IDs. And whenever Winker returns my phone calls, David Winker, you're not returning my phone calls, buddy.
There must be.
And he's got my money. He's got my money. That's why he's not returning my phone calls.
Do you return phone calls?
I return phone calls all the time.
All right. What else, Mr. Singer?
I think that's it. I think the fact of the matter is I'm going to have a couple people on here that have detailed knowledge about the budget after Monday's hearing. After Monday's budget hearing, we'll go through the budget line by line item.
Okay, let's talk about something more interesting.
Okay.
What about your music career? Tell us.
Oh.
Here we go, folks.
Here we go.
You heard it here first.
Okay, so
we got 2 minutes left.
I got 2 minutes left because Tommy has to go drink. So do I, Tommy. I'm going to everybody. I would advise everybody right now, make plans to go to Pig Floyd's tonight. They have great barbecue and they have great refreshments, and it's a great place. Go there while they're still there.
Okay. Okay. Madeline Ramon says, are you going to put out a highlighted report on these increases? That's to you.
Yes.
Compare Cutler Bay's 45,000 population to Palmetto Bay's 25 population budget, dollar amount, and number of employees. That would be an interesting.
Yeah, I will.
exercise.
I'll be happy. I'll be happy to do that, Jerry. I'm going to bring it. I'll do it, and I'll probably throw a bunch of charts up on the screen next week or the week after, depending on what goes on.
All right, music guy.
Okay, music guy. So I have a band. And people probably know the drummer. His name's Kelly Strong. He's been around forever. He's played with all different groups. We're gonna in December. We've been practicing. We're gonna start hitting the circuit, and we'll be doing. We'll be playing down in the keys. We'll be playing down in the keys, and we'll be playing down.
Are you allowed to go to Gilbert's?
Yes, I am allowed to go to Gilbert's. We'll be playing down in the keys.
welcome.
Actually, you know what? I actually got to call them to book us. We'll be down in the keys, and we'll be down.
That's an inside joke.
Any place else will be in Cutler Bay.
So, what's your role in the band, and what's the name of the band?
We're looking for a name, actually.
Okay.
I asked them to do Gloves Off, and they didn't like it. But I'm a lead singer. Every once in a while, I've tried to talk him into letting me play the piano.
You took singing lessons for years. You had your instructor over here, nice looking lady,
yeah,
smart,
great,
educated,
I love her.
and somehow you got
I love her.
Her to listen to help you. What's her name?
Raina Murnock.
And
she's a professor at UM.
And they can find her all online.
And you can find her online.
Do you have a favorite song?
We're gonna be playing anything from 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Tommy, what do I have to do to get them to sing our way out of this?
I'm not singing my way out of here,
all right.
But I will actually when the band's ready, I'll bring the band in here and we'll do a little gig.
Oh, good.
Yeah. couple of minutes.
That'd be great.
I mean, so that's it, guys. Listen, the most important thing is stay safe, wear your masks if you need to, get your vaccine, okay? And don't stay away from COVID. No COVID, guys, okay? It's important. I want everybody to stay safe out there. Thank you.
See you guys. Tommy, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.